Hello friends, welcome to day 1 of Unit 3, Week 3. Today we will read One Body, Many Adaptations found on pages 22 to 26 in the text for close reading Animal Adaptation. Today we will learn how to determine the main idea and identify key details so that we can make meaning of what we are reading. The directions for slide 4 are to reread paragraphs 3 to 12 on pages 23 to 24 to find out about the adaptations of the octopus. So once we have read the whole text, we are going to go back and reread only paragraphs 3 to 12 and focus on these paragraphs to find out the adaptations of the octopus. As we are reading, we will highlight the key details. Then we will use our annotations or what we highlighted to complete the chart below and write the possible main ideas. So here we have our chart. You can see the section that we are focusing on right now is the octopus body parts to survive, paragraphs 3 to 7. When we are done reading and highlighting our key details, we are going to transfer our key details into this middle section of our chart. And last, using our key details, we are going to write our main idea of this section. So what was this section mostly about? Okay. And actually, before we go to the text, I want to remind you that adaptation are what help an animal survive. So adaptations can be how an animal looks or how it behaves. An adaptation can be a body part or a special behavior that an animal does in order to survive. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to page 23. Here we are, page 23, and again, we're only going to focus on the section of the octopus. As we are reading, we are going to highlight key details. In this case, we are looking for the adaptations of the octopus, okay? So I'm going to pay special attention to see what those adaptations are. The octopus, paragraph 3. The octopus lives in the ocean. Its body is very soft and slimy. This slimy exterior lets an octopus slide into small spaces between rocks on the ocean floor. Its body coverings helps the octopus hide from its predators. In this paragraph, we just learned about an adaptation, and the adaptation we just read about is its slimy exterior. So that's its body covering, okay? The whole thing covering the octopus, it's slimy. How does it help it survive? Well, it says right here that the slimy exterior lets an octopus slide into small spaces between rocks. Why does it do that? It does this to hide from its predators. That way it will not get eaten, okay? So that is one adaptation. And you know what? I like to take notes as I read, so I'm going to write on the side right here, I'm going to write that we just read about its body, slimy body covering. This paragraph is all about its slimy body covering. That's an adaptation. Let's keep reading. The octopus also uses camouflage to survive. There are many different colors on the ocean floor. To blend into its surroundings, the octopus has projections sticking out of its skin and special color changing skin cells. Within 1 second, its body can match the colors, patterns, and textures around it. The octopus is much like the chameleon in this way. In paragraph 4, we learned about another thing that helps the octopus survive, and that is its ability to camouflage. And it says that in the first sentence, the octopus uses camouflage to survive. So since it uses camouflage to survive, I know that it is an adaptation. Now, how does it use camouflage? Well, it says right here, to blend into its surroundings, the octopus has projections sticking out of its skin and special color changing skin cells. So remember we said that An adaptation can be how an animal looks, like a body part, or how it behaves. That one here, it's both, right? The projections are part of its body, but its ability to change color, that's a behavior. So that's super important. That's like a 2-in-1 adaptation. And let's look at this picture. Look at these things sticking out of its body. Those must be the projections. And actually, let's read this. As the projections on this giant octopus help it blend into its surroundings. So yep, those little bumpy things we see sticking out are the octopus's projections that help it camouflage. So again, let's write a little note on the side. In this paragraph, we learned all about the projection. So I'm going to say projections that help it camouflage. That is the adaptation we learned about in this paragraph. Okay, let's go on to the next page. Body parts to survive. Ooh, so we're going to learn all about, different adaptations that help it survive, that are body parts. Paragraph 5. An octopus's body has several parts that help it survive too. Its best known body parts are its 8 arms with suction cups. An octopus uses its arms for moving, hunting, eating, tasting, and even mating. If it loses an arm, no problem. Another arm will grow in its place. So what adaptation did we learn about in paragraph 5? We learned that it has 8 arms with suction cups. How do the 8 arms help it survive? Well, it says in this next sentence that it uses its arms for moving, hunting, eating, tasting, and even mating. These are all things that the octopus must do in order to survive, right? If it can't hunt, it can't eat. And if it can't eat, it will starve. So we know that definitely the 8 arms, and I'm just going to type that in my notes. 8 arms help it survive, right? That's an adaptation. Let's keep reading. Paragraph 6. To get away from a predator, an octopus will squirt black ink from its body. The predator cannot see. Then the octopus can escape unnoticed. An octopus also has a body part that helps it escape quickly. A funnel-shaped tube shoots out water that helps propel the octopus. Okay, here we learn 2 different adaptations. One is the black ink that it squirts from its body. This is a behavioral adaptation, right? That's something it does in order to survive. It squirts black ink into the predator so the predator cannot see and therefore it can escape unnoticed. Another adaptation we learned about in paragraph 6 is that it has a funnel-shaped tube. The octopus has this tube that shoots out water, and as a result, it helps it propel, so that it helps it move. It helps it move quickly. Therefore, it can escape if a predator is nearby. So this funnel-shaped tube is a body part. Let's write that in our notes. So we're going to say a behavioral adaptation is squirts black ink. And then the other adaptation we read about in this paragraph is its funnel-shaped tube, which helps it move quickly. That way it can escape and the predator will not get to it. Okay, and the last paragraph, here we go. Okay. Paragraph 7, the octopus mainly eats shellfish. It uses its mouth to hold down prey and to eat. Its powerful beak-like jaws break open the shells. Its razor-sharp tongue scoops the animals out. Okay, so we all know that animals need to eat in order to survive, right? So that is why it's important that we, look at these 2 adaptations we just read about in paragraph 7. And one of them is its beak-like jaw. Wow, that is interesting. I did not know that the octopus had a beak-like jaw. This reminds me of other texts we read about how some birds use their beaks to crack open nuts. So here, the octopus uses its beak-like jaw to break open shells. This is an important adaptation because, you know, in the first sentence it says that it mainly eats shellfish, so it definitely needs that beak to crack them open. Therefore, it won't starve. And then we also read that it has a razor-sharp tongue to scoop the animals out. So it uses its tongue kind of like a fork or like a knife to scoop out the fish, the shellfish, right? Definitely needs that. So let's also write that on the notes part. The two adaptations we just read about are beak-like jaw and razor sharp tongue. Okay. And before I transfer my notes, my annotations to my chart, I want to take a look at this chart, this table on the bottom. It's titled Adaptations of an Octopus, and I can see that it has the types, camouflage, body parts, body covering, has the different adaptations and the functions or how it helps the animal survive. So as you can see, this table is like a summary of what we just read. Anyway, now let's go back and transfer what we highlighted, our annotations, to our chart. So here we are. In the first paragraph, I highlighted that its slimy exterior lets an octopus slide into small spaces between rocks. So that's the body covering, and it helps the octopus hide. So that's what I'm going to type. That's what I typed. Paragraph 4, I highlighted how camouflage helps the octopus, and it uses its projections to camouflage. So again, I type that, uses camouflage to survive, projections sticking out of its skin cells. That's how it camouflages. On page 24, paragraph 5, 6, and 7, those were all different body parts. And remember, I wrote those body parts on my notes, right? The 8 arms, we talked about the funnel-shaped tube, the beak-like jaw, and the razor-sharp tongue. Those are all body parts that the octopus uses to survive. So I just kind of summarized that. And I just put several body parts help it survive: 8 arms, the funnel-shaped tube, powerful jaws, and the sharp tongue. Now that I have transferred my key details to my chart, I need to think about, what was this section I just read mostly about? Well, for one, I know that it was mostly about its adaptations, right? So it talked about adaptations and how it helped it survive. We read about its body parts, right? And things it does in order to survive. So the main idea I put is that this section was mostly about an octopus's body covering and body parts and how it helps survive in the ocean. So actually, I spelled that. An octopus's body covering and body parts help it survive in the ocean. So that is what this section I just read was mostly about. Okay. Now you are going to do the exact same thing we just did with the section about the octopus, but this time you are going to read the section about the penguin, and you're going to highlight all the adaptations of the penguin. Again, you can write on the margins in the notes section. I think that really helps. Once you are done highlighting, you're going to come back and fill out your chart. Okay, so transfer what you highlighted, your key details, and then use your key details to come up with the main idea. What was this section about, mostly about? Okay, and that is it for today.